Good afternoon, everyone. We are delighted to welcome you to another insightful session of Connecting the Dots. On behalf of HREI, I extend a warm welcome to all our participants to today's discussion on an impactful topic: digital ethics, balancing innovation with responsibility in every industry. First and foremost, our heartfelt thanks to our esteemed speakers for joining us today and contributing their valuable perspectives to this panel discussion. CA Deepak Kalera, Chief Financial Officer at Oriano Clean Energy. Ms. Radhika Niranjan, Co-founder and CEO at Arena Associates. Mr. Sanskar Shukla, Chief Operating Officer at Grovon Solutions. Mr. Venugopal Rao, Group CFO and IT Strategist at Autoline Industries Limited. We are truly honored to have such accomplished leaders with us, bringing their expertise and experience to today's discussion. To know more about our speakers, you may follow them on LinkedIn. Their profiles have been shared in the chat window. For more information about HRA and our upcoming events, please refer to the links shared in the chat. It is now my pleasure to introduce today's moderator, Mr. Venugopal, who will be leading this discussion with his deep insights and expertise. Without taking much of your time, I now hand it over to you, Mr. Venu.
Yeah. So I think I'm audible.
Yes.
Just can you confirm what's someone?
Yes, you're audible, Mr.
Yes, Venu, you are audible.
Yeah. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. So firstly, welcome to Digital Ethics. Very, very interesting topic. So I'm very thankful to HRA and Faisal and team to bringing such an insightful topic, which really going to make a huge difference in the digital world. So digital ethics, balancing innovation with responsibility in every industry. It's a huge topic. So what just is digital today is not just IT. It's how decision get made, and artificial intelligence influences outcomes. Automation changes processes. Data shapes priorities, and cyber resilience protect continuity. The opportunity is massive for all of us, but so is the responsibility as well. Because in most industries, one ethical slip can become a trust event, and trust takes years to build and minutes to lose. So today's session is practical. We can interact each other at the end of the session. We are exploring a simple challenge. How do we move fast with digital innovation while staying responsible, compliant, and human-centered? To make things real, we have very distinguished panel where we have a very experienced CFO, then a young chief operating officer, then CEO, and as well as HR consultant. So this is a blend up mix. So I think I am really excited to see a lot more interesting session is going to be there. We are going to have 5 questions. Out of that, fifth question is the one common. All are going to answer it. So I think it's going to be a lot more insightful. A quick note to our panelists. Thank you for being here. This is a learning forum. Please feel comfortable to speak in anonymized examples. No need to name your customers, vendors, or individuals. We are looking for patterns and practices. So I will ask 5 questions. For each, I may push for 3 things. This is the expectation from the moderator. It can be a real example. The mechanism we use, policy, committee, risk scoring, approval gates, or audit trails. What changed after learning? A incident or near miss incident, audit observation, or leadership call. So with this context setup, I'm just welcoming Mr. Deepak Kalera. So the topic for this particular question is like overall board level accountability, which is the foremost one for any listed company, which is continuously happening, something like a minimum 4 board meetings, and unlisted company at least 1 board meeting. So when an AI or algorithm driven decision causes harm, financial, safety, reputational, or legal, who owns accountability in your company? and how is that documented in governance? Over to you, Deepak.
Yeah, hi. Thanks. Good afternoon to everybody, and thanks to the young audience and Venu for introducing us, making us very insightful on this topic. And it's our pleasure to be on the HRA platform and share our experiences, live business case studies with the larger platforms. Coming back to the question what Venu has asked, I bifurcate this into the three level of securities. First of all, let me make everybody aware that nowadays the company is thinking much beyond the boardrooms, and they are not restricted to only discussing operational and financial controls, but they are thinking beyond it. Recently, I had a board meeting concluded yesterday, and we were discussing less of business and more of digital offices. Every CEO, CFO, and what you call chief growth officers have been instructed and advised to have the digital offices within their preview, and keep on reviewing their mechanisms. Now, since this is a board initiative, definitely one of the party which leads to this forum is the board level people who have the initiative top down approach, and they have the first level of responsibility, which is for which they have to provide the guidance, insights, and all that. So C-suite level definitely becomes a part of this legacy. And the second level, which I see that C-suite level people have to carry forward their thought processes, give it a good shape and line and length within the team to implement it through their policies, corporate policies, through their vision, foresightedness. And third team, what we see is the executive level, where the operational controls and the financial controls are built through corporate policy, risk registers, risk management team. There is a risk management committee which looks into this aspect. So there are three level of securities always, and the responsibility lies on all the three level of people around, which takes care of all this stuff. Then it is support. All these three level of decisions are supported by audit trails. Operational control is through internal audit, statutory audit, and recently, since digitalization is the talk of the town, you have been using. Everybody might be using various AI agents, but coming from a cybersecurity background, I just insist that we have to be very careful. The audit trail shows up everything. The AI agents have to be very well documented. Which AI tools will be used by the teams, by respective divisions, by the C-suite level. It has to be monitored and documented with the club, with the IT policies. The risk register should carry the pros and cons of that AI tool. That is how the validation process comes into picture, and it gives you a wonderful insight at the end of the day. C-suite level people have to carry forward all this legacy of the operational and financial control to the board, make the board people comfortable, independent directors comfortable, and that's how the whole ecosystem has been taken care of at my level in the existing company and my previous company. When you are unaudible.
Yeah, thanks, Deepak. I think you just came out of the, like, it looks like a board meeting. So very, very fresh and a very fresh topic. And even aspects are also very fresh. So now I'm just going to Radhika. Once accountability is clear internally, the next question is external facing. Like Deepak has already explained about the accountability. So it is the question actually relates to like something like a data trust and license to operate. How are you building customer and employee trust in how you collect, use, and share data, especially when consent is formal but not truly informed? Over to you, Radhika.
So, thanks, Venu. Again, an extremely interesting question, especially in a follow through with what Deepak just mentioned, that accountability becomes, stays human, right? While AI can execute for efficiency, accountability remains human. And most humans do not have the patience to read through a plethora of documents before they sign I agree.
Yeah.
Right? Most of us invariably click on that I agree consent form without even noticing if there is a fine print that puts us at risk. So my solution to this trust building exercise has always been in my career and my now consulting space is that we make the language simple and people friendly. Most of us are investors in mutual funds, and we really don't read that entire documentation before we sign. That is not data trust. Data trust is when we invest time to explain what the policy means, what is the fine print, what are they agreeing to, and then taking a signature on a paper or even a digital acceptance. So, as an HR person, thinking from the people perspective, naturally, we are executing at our client places also a format that any acceptance comes only after interactions. The accountability still stays human. People sign up for what they agree. And if there is a change, that is also documented in a very user friendly language, which is explained first, understood, and verified. There are very strict rules that we clearly implement at all our client places, especially with respect to personally identifiable information. We cannot use that data for other than what we have agreed upon utility. So these are some of the practices we implement at all our client places to keep it simple. This is true not only for employees, but also in the customer facing data that we allow our clients to work on. So what happens is there is no random use of ChatGPT allowed for analyzing any data. You utilize a copilot which is exclusive to your information, and within that only authorized personnel have the right to deal with that data for specified purposes. This is something that we insist to make sure that even at our end, we are first ethical before we go out and advise others.
In fact, Venu, if you allow me, I like to add something, practical case studies where I have seen a lot of other stuff beyond what Ms. Radhika stated, which will be very insightful for the larger audience. Coming from a, again, cybersecurity platform, working for a longer duration, I have seen that people like us, C-suite level, or people within the organization outside, we easily use Copilot, ChatGPTs, Gamma.com, and all that stuff. I'll urge the larger platforms to recheck the terms and conditions of each and every sub AI agents or AI agents, because not everything is authorized within the laptop also. And these, since these are machine learning tools, your data of the organization is getting captured in the background, which is used or misused possibly at a larger organization level, right? So it's always better that you suggest your IT teams to buy the AI tools for you, or the respective teams like designing, engineering, and those people have the consensus and the agreements done with those OEMs, and then start using it with a license, paid license versions. Because well, as a common human psychology, we go for a free licenses, but we forget that in the excitement, we compromise the data, and which is very important for the organization level people. And then one fine day, you will find the board denying the authority of taking the responsibility of it. C-suite level may deny it. So it's always better to have tie-up with the AI agenting tool, like Chat GPT or something like that with Google and all these guys in the market, and have proper organized way of working. That will be my urge to the larger audience, since they may be using it, they may not be using it, but this is a common business case study. And second, the sources which are defined in these AI tools are also to be validated, because as a forensic auditor also, I have seen that multiple data points which are being shared, the case laws or those are not ethical. The survey reports or the data source which are given there is also challengeable in the public domain.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks
In
Deepak,
fact,
and thanks Radhika.
I agree with what you're saying, Deepak. So one of my fundamental guidelines to my clients is unless we have authentic licenses, we don't operate in that space.
Correct, absolutely right.
Yeah. So thanks Radhika, giving a lot of insights about this one, what you are operating, and thanks Deepak for extended discussion, which is on trust point of view, because everything comes in the trust. Because
Yes.
without even informing the organization, if you wanted to do something, and it is as good as like a misusing organizational credentials, right? So now, very interesting topic already. We have gone through that. License to operate is the one, right? So trust needs actually governance, right? So, but governance cannot become a speed breaker. So let us talk about guardrails now. So the next question is like a governance without killing speed. What lightweight but effective guardrails have you put in place? Policy, review gates, ethics committee, risk scoring. So innovation can move fast without becoming reckless. Over to you, Mr. Sanskar.
First of all, good afternoon to everyone, people joining us and the panel, esteemed panel guests here. So coming to the question, and as Deepak sir and Radhika ma'am said, related to AI automation and digitization in this modern age. So what I feel, and I think everybody will agree upon this, that innovation is speed and governance and guardrails are the brakes. Coming from a like car enthusiast, being a car enthusiast, so I can carry on with this that brakes are the not just for the purpose of reducing the speed. They also help us to navigate and better our operations while driving the car and avoid the hard hitting. Right. So that's the thing I feel about the guardrails and governance, that they are not just for the reduction of speed. They are also for the better operation in our organizations. So what guardrails that we use in grow on solutions, the first thing that is predominant and very necessity I feel is the human in the loop. That even after using AI automation in our a few products and in our day-to-day operations as well, we use a human in the loop, and the decision is based on the human intelligence only. Like for example, we have a bot in our robot system, that is actually the ATS that we use. So in that also, when the bot is talking to the clients and the customers, so we use if there's any spike in the emotion or anything that is beyond the capability of the chat bot that we are using, so we just use a simple tagline for that the bot replies to the customers and the people talking to them, I'll connect you to XYZ from our team. So this simple sentence saves us a lot of reputation, and it's rather better than a 200-page policy that we need to incorporate. So this simple sentence saves us a lot of reputation as well. And yeah, this is the way that we use the guardrail. And also, I feel that the inclusion of ethical frameworks in the day-to-day working, and even the AI frameworks that people are developing are very important for the governance, so that the innovation is still there and governance is used for bettering and improving the efficiency and also the productivity of organizations and everything.
Yeah, thanks, Sanskar, actually giving us a insightful conversation with the practical examples.
Mhm.
So we move on to the next question with again Sanskar is going to take up that one. Now let us now shift from system to people, right? Because transformation always lands on the workforce first, right? So just a typical question like as you automate and digitize, what commitments are you making on redeployment, reskilling, and fairness? And how are you measuring whether transformation is improving lives, not just margins? Over to you, Sanskar.
Yeah. So here also, I feel the truth is people and the employees are a bit of frightened, and they have their own dilemmas regarding this automation and digitization. Because yeah, the truth is there are instances where AI chatbots and AI automations are replacing or improving the efficiency of the employees that we currently have. But yeah, with this also, I think the policies that we are using at Growan are based on their upskilling also, that we have a clear policy that all the role and all the team members are continuously are in, uh, doing the upskilling and reskilling part, and even with the continuous discussion on the AI platforms and what AI automations we can use in our day-to-day operations, are not just improving our margins, as you well said, because at the last day, the margins are not the last point of any business. It's just is the organization and the people around us as well. So in that aspect, the AI automation and the digitization that is taking place, I feel it's not just for the improvement and uh, improvement of our margins. It's also for improving the uh, efficiency and productivity of people around us, people in our organization, and in our day-to-day lives.
Right. And Venu, with your permission, I'd also like to add a perspective because this happens to be my domain as well.
Yes, please.
Right. So, a very common question that comes to HR at every stage of innovation and change is what happens to us? We lose jobs. Okay, this is a very, very common question that we deal with. When we moved from bullock carts and horse carts to cars, this question came. When we moved from handcrafted things to machine revolution, this came. When we moved from paper governance to computerization, this came. And now when we are moving from digital to AI, this is the same question. And one answer that as HR professionals we give very clearly is what is it that you do which is your specialty and how can we enhance by reskilling that specialty to the latest technology. So that is the first focus we get people onboarded on, that we don't want you to lose, we want you to upgrade. So if somebody was a customer care executive at one of my clients who was answering phone calls and responding to queries, we say that why don't you become the brain behind the bot which will answer questions? And you become the point of escalation. So we train you, upskill you, give you that kind of confidence and capability that you become the next level and not just a clerk, right? Second is, how do I redeploy you? If somebody shows the spark to adapt and learn more, then you can be redeployed at another function altogether and you can start another revolution. So that's the second option we provide people clearly. And this is true for not only service, this is also true for manufacturing. One of my manufacturing clients was an age-old 1960 model operations, and suddenly there was transformation required. We needed new machinery, and people were insecure. The three things that we did was reskill people on the machinery and allowed them to continue at an elevated role, redeployed them into ISO who could create processes and streamline those processes so people did not go out of job. And most important, educated them. It took 6 months of education to bring people to the alignment that any technological innovation is actually in your interest, not against you. You don't get replaced by AI, you get replaced by people who adopt AI with the ethics in background. This is the training that we are giving a lot of our clients and their employees today. And it has actually helped us improve retention, where people were running away worrying that they are losing their jobs. They are now staying because they see a career graph being developed exclusively for them. So, workforce impact is if we educate properly, if we counsel properly, people do adapt. And yes, with retention, social cause is definitely attended.
Yeah.
What do you
Thank
think?
you, Radhika. I'm audible actually, so I have having some issues.
Yeah, you are audible, but your voice is little echoing, Venu. With your
Can I
kind
rejoin
permission,
again?
your voice is still echoing.
What I'll do is I'll just go out and rejoin. Yeah, I'll rejoin.
Yeah, can reach you.
Faisal, I think Deepak had a point of view. Till Venu
Yes.
settles his audio issues,
Yeah,
can
yeah.
Deepak
Is
please
it fine now?
Yeah. With the kind permission of the speaker and moderator, I like to highlight two important points based on my recent observation of last few months. I'll say those may be helpful for a larger audience. And see, basically, everybody in today's world, in corporate, young generation, they are talking about AI. AI is in phones, mobile phones, smartphones, everywhere. In companies, we are using Copilot, Chat GPTs everywhere. But two things what I recently observed that the accountability framework is still not in existence for all these AI tools. Corporates are allowing the employees are using through their smartphones, through their connections, but it is very much vulnerable that through your mobile phones, your data hacking may happen, your data leakages may happen. So we'll have to remember at employer level that if
Yes,
the
Faizan.
any employer, yeah, Venu,
Hello.
now
Yeah,
you are
yes,
audible,
Faizan.
Venu, you are audible now.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, Venu, you are audible.
Still there is a resound coming, it seems to be.
No, we can hear you properly, Mr. No.
Okay. So
Were you there? You could hear because I believe Deepak was sharing his uh, insights.
Can I
am
continue?
I audible?
Yeah, you can continue,
Yes,
Deepak. I
Venu, you are
think,
audible.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I
okay.
was saying that, yes.
Thanks, panelist, adding value to all three to the question.
No, again, your voice is echoing. You can leave the session now, and then again rejoin so that it will be.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, sure.
In the meanwhile, I'll take this time to
Yeah,
explain
yeah,
what is my
no
experience
issues.
and real business kadi possible everybody may. So at employer level, at C-suite level, at employee level, we are using AI agents, AI tools, a lot of other smart tools we are using. But I see that there is a lack of framework, a regulatory framework, statutory framework for all this using. And employers at the end of the day, they don't take the responsibility that a particular employee or they might themselves use the AI tool, they don't take the responsibilities of it. And there is a loose framework which is attached to it. So we need to be caution that till date in India, no labor law has governed that the use of AI tool is justifiable or fairness to its there. So whatever data extractions or data tractions, what we are doing, data mining and data massaging, what we are doing from these tools are not governed by any of the regulatory framework. So we need to be caution. We need to obtain the permission from the company officials, regulatory authorities, IT team, so that they put that what you call the risk data point in their risk registers, which is again under the surveillance of the board members, and board members gives a justification to the independent directors, and thereon therefore the disclosures are happening. Second, to this extent, whatever the AI is being discussed in present form, it is still not governed by the labor courts or labor authorities in the regulatory framework. So we need to be cautious at employer level also and at a labor law level also. Whatever we are deriving or data extractions what we are having from AI, it's not under a proper governance process. So we have to be cautious. And if there happens to be a data leakage, that respective employee or employer will be held responsible for it. That is what my experience talks about.
Thanks, Deepak. You've taken a right topic. So I think now I am absolutely audible, right?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. So thanks, and sorry for a little bit disturbance from my side. So now we are moving into the question where actually we will all give you insights, and we definitely move to the question answer session later. But this is a huge question for all of us. So which is actually a couple of questions also I could see, so that we will be able to answer it. Otherwise, we'll take the question separately. So finally, it is like a stress test, the whole model, with a scenario every leader fears, regulators, auditors, or headlines. We always used to say this, right? In every after board meeting, during the board meeting, and before board meeting. So what we are talking about is like readiness for regulations and reputation shocks is the, you can say, the buzzword for all of us. Like if regulators, auditors, or the media reviewed your digital systems tomorrow, what would they find? And what ethical risks are you prioritizing to reduce in the next 90 days? Or maybe next 30 days? So over to Radhika.
Yeah. So There's one simple question that I ask any of my leaders with whom I work. Ever since 2021, we started working going gaga over AI, typically. Before that, we were still working on data. Google was the devta then, right?
Yeah.
So whenever I worked with any of my leaders, whether in corporate or now when I work with my MSME founders, there's one question I always ask them. Show me how your data works. What is the data backbone you have? And I put on the hat of an auditor before I start my assignment with them because that shows me what is the comfort level and what is the compliance level. And if there is nervousness seen, the first advice that goes from my desk to any of my clients or my leaders where I was working was let's document one, what is the purpose of collecting the data? From whom are we collecting? Do we have their consent with full understanding? How does this data work and where will it be used? And who approved the use of this data? This makes us ready for any kind of audit with clarity and definitely reduces the reputation shock because whoever we are using that data from also is aware this is going to happen. So there's no outcry at the end of it. People call me a little tedious. Sometimes I am a bit tedious because I ensure that if I comply first, the cost of compliance is definitely cheaper than the cost of panic later. Right? And frankly, I believe very strongly that preparation is better than damage control and then going back and trying to fix or reverse engineer hardware. So that is the way I have made my clients ready for any kind of regulation shocks. From an HR standpoint, also there is a lot of data. I'm sure both of you CFOs and CEOs know that there is people data that becomes very sensitive. If compliances and records are not in order, that becomes it boomerangs or becomes a snowball. So it's very, very important for us to be really prepped in advance. So any of my consulting assignments, we start first with what is data available versus what is required. How do we get there with clarity? And once we are there, how do we maintain it so that the right, readiness for audit is always maintained at day zero.
Okay. So, Radhika,
Actually,
any top
Adding
three
on this,
ethical risks you will be able to say?
Sir, clearly when we document things like personally identifiable information of people, if it is not stored properly, there is a huge risk of identity theft.
Okay.
That's one. Second, we are dealing with sensitive information like compensation. Many of my HR fraternity sometimes put compensation data on AI to analyze, and that data, if leaked, can be a disaster.
Yeah.
Because every level, role, performance expectations versus actual performance, their qualifications, pedigree, all of that defines compensation. Not everyone has the same kind of package, and this should not get leaked outside. There are some
Okay.
company information related to performance which cannot go outside. Trade secrets cannot go outside. And these are sensitive information that HR works with. So if this information is not collected, stored, and utilized with the right matrices and the right authorities, we have a problem. These are non-negotiables for any of our HR data points as well.
So, right. Very good examples for the readiness for regulation and the reputation shocks. Uh, Over to you, Deepak. So, how we are really going to have it?
Yeah, thanks, Venu. See, this is also a very interesting matter to be discussed and elaborated and deliberated over here at this platform. And for the larger audience, I like to inform that being from a listed company and running so many listed companies in my life, I bifurcate this controls into two parts. First, since a man of governance and controls, I bifurcate this into a government documentation, governance documentation, and operational control. See, day in, day out, you deal with the operational controls like you have your IT team, risk registers, you think of IFCs, internal financial controls, general application controls, what is a part of the Caro reports also nowadays. So there has to be an audit trail of all these algorithms or the decisions taken on these AI tools or whatever the digitalization tool you are using. You need to document it, you have to register it, first of all. You need to take appropriate and educate approvals for using this within the company, outside the company. Second is if there is some mishappening, there is a forum in our company to report the incidents. which has been taken care by IT and digital office. Incident reports are reported and documented. A root cause analysis, which we call as RCA, is done. And then you have to adhere to the guidelines, what they do after the diagnostic exercise happens. Then possibly you will have to meet the governance process, which has been defined in DPDP Act or any European country, because if I deal with many of the European countries, also I deal with many other overseas. So we have to take care of the operational control, which is at an executive and at possibly at the C-suite level also. Then the second part which I discussed was a governance documentation. Being working for a listed company so far, the governance documents and the comfort for the board of directors is very important. So that operational control has to be documented and converted into kind of board charters, risk registers, which are subject to review every quarter, every bi-monthly within the team. There has to be a approval for using the AI. Explicit approvals are there in the place. Which AI tool, AI agent, IT is allowing. What is the data privacy and cyber security policy within your company? All these are the matter of governance, which SEBI also nowadays are very vigilant and they ask about it. Understanding that we are moving towards a zone of DPDP Act, which has been recently launched and approved. Everybody at a larger forum and at corporate level, we have to be very careful that we meet all these guidelines and document it and get these audited from to time, so that we also don't feel guilt conscious about using any of the efficient tools in the company. So operational control supported by a governance documents gives a comfort to the company level promoters, board of directors, or independent directors. That's the way I behave and I walk on it.
Yeah. Any top 3 ethical risks you would like to take upon?
Top? I didn't get you, sorry.
No. What I'm asking is, what are your top 3 ethical risks and your actions?
See, basically, I don't allow using AI tools in my company without my approval or the IT team, because IT reports back to me as a CFO, and I don't allow anybody to activate any of the AI tools as of now, because it carries a risk, and coming from cyber security, definitely I have to take care of it at a CFO and CISO level. Second, I document it and I use only the licensed version of any of the AI agent tools, because I have seen many of the leakages and data leakages happening. So definitely we have created a data lake within the company where all the database management is subject to timely audit, or subject to auditing tool and a review by the CISO also within the team. These are the 3 master principles I follow, and there has to be a maker checker approval, so that if any leakages are happening or any employee related mishappenings or misbehaving is happening, we tap it at IT level and operational level in the maker of in the form of IFC.
Okay, great. Well said. So one last thing is, like, who leads the crisis response? Is it the legal, PR, cyber cell, or cyber security, or business?
See, basically risk is at all level. It depends whom are the reporting authorities. Currently at my company and the previous company, since IT report backs to me, the digital office, which we have renamed for the IT team, digital office is responsible. Back to back, I am responsible, and after that, board members are responsible, because we have documented all the process, and it has been very well captured in a corporate policy, IT policy, and various policy. It has been supported by a legal team, because whatever the agreements, as Radhika madam already said, that we have to sign up something on the websites or on particular platforms. We take a download of that and give it to our legal team for analysis, how far they can meet the regulatory authorities or the regulatory acts within the itself. So legal along with IT supports to CFO and CISO, and thereafter we support in entirety to the board members. That is a process and protocol that we follow.
Yeah. Thanks, Deepak and Radhika, covering wider spectrum. Now I'm coming back to Sanskar. So your views, please, Sanskar.
Yeah, so I'm just adding to Radhika and Deepak's points that data minimization is also becoming a very big part of our operations. As since data is in abundance and we can really fetch data with AI in a very easy manner. So keeping that data and asking questions for ourselves, that are we collecting the data that we actually need? So that's the protocol that we are currently AI automations, the data storage and everything. It's been a huge database that we have created since we started this. And also, can we reduce the retention period of the database that we are managing? Is a big question that we ask ourselves, so that the data that we are using and having with ourselves is cleaned and used properly. Also, one more point I think Deepak sir and Radhika ma'am missed is the algorithmic bias drift that is coming. Because as our AI chatbots and as automation tools are utilizing our data, since they all work on the data that we are inputting also, so there have been a drift of their algorithm also, because we are feeding the data that we are using, and we are also gaining outputs from it from the same database. So for that perspective, we use the auditing of the databases and auditing of the algorithm that we are using in the AI chatbots. So that's the thing I think we should also look upon for the data minimization and the algorithmic drift that we currently see.
Yeah,
Okay,
Venu,
so
with your kind permission, very interesting case study I like to discuss. And Sanskar has
please.
touched a very important point, very important point, because I have experienced this. What year we forgot? Yes, Sanskar, you are rightly said that
Yeah.
we forgot to discuss this. Basically, AI is the talk of the town everywhere, and there are hundreds of thousands of AI agents that we are using on social media. Also, you see that within 1 hour you become an expert of the AI tool, using one tool every day, and so on and so forth. There are a lot of webinars happening. So don't fall prey to all this. It's nothing of that sort. Nobody becomes an expert overnight, and nobody becomes an expert. We are also, after 26 years, everybody is learning in the system. But one important case study I did while passing through my phase of working with companies, that I have put a common database, a common data point, I'll say, not database, a data point to multiple AI agents. And you will not believe, it gave a different result. It was a range of results that I should believe, right? And those were machine learning based on the inputs given and the what you call a prompt given to them. All of them similar prompt, but everybody gave us the different results. 6 sub tools I tested, and everybody gave a different tool. The point which drives from here is that these tools are not regulated. These tools are not supported. These tools are not used as a legal framework in any court of law, any income tax offices, commissioner offices, or so and so forth, where many of the chartered accountants are interface, right? So you can use as a reference point, don't use as your basis for making decisions, because these decisions are not validated or warranted by it. So ultimately, our book of accounts, an act in Indian law, is very much supportive. So the case, you put your one case over there and you see what Chatbox, Gamma, or possibly now Perkflix, the IPO company, possibly the all other co-pilot gives you. You will see a phenomenal range of results giving. So I stopped believing on the results. I put a common query. You calculate a long-term capital gain on a particular data point of one client. It gave me a result where the ethical liability was 75 lakhs. In that case, it gave me a result from 48 lakhs to 2 crores. Now, why it gave? Because it was considering the fathering date also, it was considering post and pre dates also. So, which one you will believe? Which tool you will believe? So, very important point. Don't believe at the face value. You still have to validate and consolidate your results and vouch for it.
So, like the adage goes, the oldest AI is the human brain, and all other AIs follow, right?
Yes.
So, the intent of AI is to optimize work and make the human work less number of hours for getting better efficiency. It does not translate into let the human work less and perform lesser, right? So the ethical consideration in using AI is clearly don't blindly believe it. AI can hallucinate. And some of us might turn out as Oxford graduates, and we are not.
In fact,
Adding to this
we
only,
should not call it as AI and HI, artificial intelligence supported by human intelligence and validated by.
Correct, absolutely.
That should be
Absolutely. Without the maker checker, this entire concept goes out of the
absolutely
window.
yes.
definitely, in the
So,
same line as Peter Thiel has well said in the early 90s, only at the advent of the technology, that all technology is meant to assist human, not substitute human. So
Absolutely.
I think in the modern age of AI, it's very well said.
yeah,
So
absolutely. Sanskar, Radhika, and Deepak, very, very interesting interactive session amongst uh, three of you. So, my take is how effectively you are going to use AI is the best thing is humanize it. So, don't allow to dominate you. So, the way you ask questions, right questions, you get a right answers. And if you completely depend on that, then it's going to give you the way it answers. Right. So, it's everyone's experience, different experience. My experience through AI is phenomenal. So all the things what you have mentioned, I strictly follow because it's imperative for us to see to it that no confidential information should be on that. So that even Altaman and as well as other AI leaders also they're saying the same thing that they will not take any guarantee of all these things. So it's better to keep all confidential information with you only, not the way it has to. So I think we came to a last question answered very, very well. And all three panelists are very, very insightful. So I think there are a couple of three questions actually. So Faisal, can I take it up? Can
Yes,
I?
yes, Mr. Mehra.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can take it.
So thanks, Mahi Katri. So she's asking something like, how do you manage ethical consistency when regulations and cultural expectations differ across countries? So over to you, Deepak, and anyone come to substrate they can.
Yes, basically, yes, the question is very right, and it's vulnerable to many of the things. But my company also deals with multiple locations and multi-country company. But what we do is basically we have control over the IT policies and the corporate governance processes. We have very much tight security built at the firewall level, and then we are having it coming back to the again the digitalization. Yes, many countries have their own regulations, but we have to be compliant to GDPR and the DPDP Act in the larger outrun,
Correct.
and we have to take care of it. And my CISO and IT team takes care of it whenever there is an interception over there, and we deal with multiple documentation, agreements, NDAs, and all that stuff. And second, as for whenever you can't make put at a stop as such, but we sign a mutual NDA with the client overseas, and they are also abandoned. In fact, better controls are at their side also because they are more vigilant and exposed to the European countries or possible the US countries. So they are also equally vigilant more than us possibly in India. So the cultural blend is there. India is also coming to that platform where the things are collaborating and many collaborations are taken. This is taken care by IT as of now.
So I think
And
question is rightly
sorry, but
answered. Anyone else? Radhika, you
there's
like to
one
add?
perspective I have because this also involves culture and cultural expectations. So what happens is, having worked in multinationals, having presence in over 18 countries, I know that it's very difficult to manage human expectations with technology development. Because culturally, one may be very open, another may say, no, I don't like anyone asking me questions. Right? So that being said, in a multicultural, multi-country space, ethical consistency, especially with technology innovation, can only come if you have one consistent global spine of non-negotiables. What is not acceptable? DPDP and GDPR is a mandate in most multinationals. That being said, the non-negotiables that we fix up are that we cannot and will not allow surveillance on any private information or personally identifiable information. If AI is constantly applied and rejecting candidates on keywords, then the human intervention becomes mandatory. So AI cannot decide, AI can support. decisions, secretly harvesting data for purposes not approved in the NDA or compliance is a strict non-negotiable, and replacing human beings without fair checks, investigations, and applying the principles of natural justice is a non-negotiable. So when we apply these kind of global spine across countries and then try and figure out if there is a cultural leeway that we can apply, then consistency comes in automatically. At the same time, the highest standard in a market, any market, among all markets, that kind of takes precedence over something that can sound exploitative as a policy. So these are some guardrails that we can apply for enabling ethical consistency across regulations and cultural expression.
Thanks, Radhika, for quite elaborative answer. So we have some more questions, so we'll take it up. So thanks, Shreya, for asking the question. Do you believe ethical leadership can survive in hyper-competitive digital markets? When was the last time your leadership team changed a digital strategy because of ethical concerns?
So I think that's a really good question asked by Shreya Mishra. So in this aspect, I think when we are seeing that everyone is going around AI and everyone is following the AI, this bubble, right? So I think only ethical leadership can survive in the hyper competitive digital market, right? Because since this can be the USP as and also mentioned in I think the last HRAI session only by our CEO Mr. Srinath Gururaja Rao. He coined the term humane, which includes AI with human and AI, right? So with that USP, I think the ethical leadership are only going to survive in this hyper competitive digital market. And talking about the last instance that our leadership changed the digital strategy because of ethical concern was related to the chatbot only, because it was responding in some unethical and it was responding with some unethical answers while talking to the candidates and the client. So with that perspective, we had to change the framework and the training module that we were using as a database for the chatbot training.
Yes, Deepak.
You see, it's very hard to say that there has to be a ethical leadership change in the hyper competitive. See, this entire domain is evolving, and nobody is perfect. Nobody is raw in this field. We are in a stage where the things are evolving. We are also learning at this stage after 26 years of exposure. And people next to us, above us, senior people, they are also learning in this. There is a transformation happening. The dust is not settled. So it's very difficult to say that any change will happen because of this. No, the companies are matured. They understand that the digitalization, the digital platform is changing and evolving. So there is no decisions of replacement of leadership just because of this kind of tools. But the more ethical way of use, that it has to be documented, properly validated, and utmost care is taken to use those tools or make the department digitalization with a regulatory framework. A proper ecosystem will support. Yes, if somebody doesn't abide to the corporate policy, individual policies, or usage of these kind of tool or digitalization, then yes, there is a leadership change, possibly the executive change, there is a managerial change happening. But this is not a fallout of a non-compliance, but it is a fallout of the evolution and non-adherence to the corporate policies.
Yep.
That is my submission.
Yeah, absolutely, Deepak. You made a right point. So actually, when we are going through various audits, cybersecurity audits, or statutory auditing, or internal auditing, it's imperative because everyone gives their perspective based on benchmark practices and other places. So it's imperative for us to amend the policies or change the policies. Because Deepak rightly said it's an evolving phase and we still not reach a stage that complete digitalization. Complete digitalization looks like something different. So from that perspective, so the answer to Shreya, very, very pertinent question, that leadership doesn't undergo a change unless otherwise somebody ethically taking a own initiative, personally is leading it. but I don't see in my organization also other people also say the same thing. So, but it's a very important for us to continuously review our policies very fast. So I'm just third question is Nidhi Gajar. Thanks for asking question. How do you ensure third-party tech vendors adhere to your digital ethics standards?
Okay, so there's one very common saying: you should know when to speak, when not, when to document, and when to walk away.
Yeah.
The most important thing that we do to ensure third-party tech vendors adhere to digital ethical standards is first have your NDAs, your compliances, your scope, and your licenses in place. Deepak had highlighted this in the discussion as well. And once that is done, as the procurer of this service, it is very, very important to have your audit controls in place, your checks and balances. How is the data being utilized on your behalf? Because your reputation stands to risk if they default. So that goes as a non-negotiable in our book of standards and our audit requirements. So when you do these kind of things, you educate your vendors, and if there is a flaw or a faux pas and there is a fallout, immediately take a corrective action. Only then your vendors will start taking you seriously that digital ethics matter to you and then start adhering to your standards.
In fact, I like to add one digital point over here since it is on digital ethics. See, basically, Venu might be aware that we have been using SAP, we have been using Microsoft Dynamics, we have been using many BI tools. Many of the digitalization has happened where multiple platforms of vendor in the backend is connected to the corporate OEMs. Then OEMs are connected to the customers. Like Venu deals, possibly deals with some OEMs. I deal with many of the OEMs. So back and forth, we are connected with the digitalization and digital tools, right? At that level itself, there is a digital ethics charter defined. Why? Because then there is a agreements, as Radhika madam rightly said, you download it, you check it mutually. I said that it has to be validated by legal. These are the digital ethical data points where we have already in adoption of it. It gets ignored in the system because we are in the process of running. But these are the standards of digitalization itself. And we abide by it. You play safe. You put up your charter, you allow somebody, you have the common authorization from your team, single person, single authority, and that person is held responsible for that. So automatically the accountability is patched up with the responsibility with the authority, and authority comes by trust. So we are a trust builder. We all at a C-suite level or the at a whosoever is using digital, they are the trust builders. And trust is a matter of integrity and outcome of integrity.
Yeah. So thanks, quite insightful. So we are just coming to the last question of this particular session. Aditi Shukla, thanks for asking. What ethical risk worry you most about emerging technologies like generative AI, deepfakes, or biometric surveillance? Should digital ethics be a competitive advantage or shared industry responsibility? Anyone? Yes, Sanskar, you would like to answer this question?
Sure. So, as it's a really great question coming about the ethical risk that we are getting through with the emerging technologies like generative AI, deepfakes, and biometric surveillance as well. So, we have seen many instances where the deepfake videos have come out and they have exploded in a very unethical manner in the market, and in even people's personal life as well. So, these are the ethical risks in organization as well, that people are posing, and clients even are using so many AI chatbot that we don't have any human intervention from either clients or customers, or even when talking about the candidatures. These are the ethical risks that we currently face, and with the growing advent and the improvement of these technologies like deepfake videos and generative AI, where generative AI is basically what when the AI is teaching itself with our prompting and with our conversation with the AI. So these are the risks that we will be facing in the growing age of AI, since it is evolving as well with our conversation with the AI, with our inputting of databases, and with our sharing more info with them. But yeah, these ethical risk we need to face in the near future. Talking about what digital ethics should digital ethics be a competitive advantage or a shared industry responsibility? I think it should be a shared industry responsibility, since there's none of us, I think, who's not involved in the modern use of AI and all. So I feel this should be a shared industry responsibility, and it should also be in the same manner from the vendors and the people who are creating these chatbots, and they are providing to us, because that's the as Deepak sir also said, that these are not really validated by themselves, and these are not really covered under the rules and regulations. So I think this responsibility should be shared by each and everyone.
So, Venu, I just have one sentence to add here that ethics these days, digital especially, is not just a tick box anymore. It's actually the architecture or the backbone for any organization to succeed, thrive, and grow. So that being said, if any organization is using AI to only cut corners or try to quickly make an impact with or without facts, then that is not making the organization future ready. It's in fact hitting the reputation badly because any such cheap stunt will get caught and you will start attracting negative, reputation. That being said, if you're using AI to power your decisions with data duly audited, fact checked, and making sure that your efficiencies are improved using the AI plus HI model that Deepak spoke about. We are actually growing responsibility with the shared responsibility. That is really making us evolve at a faster pace than what we could otherwise imagine. So, technology can be a boon. Digital ethics is a shared responsibility. And ethics in terms of AI, especially, is not just a tick box. That's your basic architecture to survive.
Yeah. So both the panelists are echoed the statement of shared responsibility. Deepak, any different perspective, or you're also okay with this?
I am totally aligned with Radhika madam and Sanskar, and that is these are points to be duly taken care of. So I completely echo their statements and I support them for this.
Yeah. So Faisal, we though we took some 3 minutes more, but very, very interesting questions asked by Atidhi, Nidhi, and Shreya and Mahi. Thanks for asking these questions so that in the session has become much more interactive. It's a quite insightful session. Over to you, Faisal.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Venu, for skillfully steering the discussion and ensuring a seamless flow of ideas and excellent engagement. We truly appreciate your dedication and commendable moderation. Thank you to all our esteemed panelists. Your insights brought meaningful depth, sharp clarity, and real world significance to a subject that is both urgent and highly relevant today. Your experiences and considered reflections encouraged us to move beyond a compliance mindset and view ethics as a core strategy priority rather than a peripheral obligation. For those eager to learn and grow, the recording of today's session is available on our YouTube link shared in the chat window. Thank you to all our participants for being part of the session. Your presence made the discussion even more meaningful. We look forward to welcoming you to our next session on the topic transforming operations through data driven insights for smarter decision making. On next, with that, we conclude today's webinar. Thank you for being part of this journey. Take care and farewell for now. Thank you, dear speakers, once again. It has been a real
Thanks
pleasure
everybody.
having you with
Thanks
us.
Venu for
Yeah, bye
wonderful
bye. Thank
moderating.
you.
Thank
Thank you,
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
everybody.
you so
Sanskar and
much.
Radhika. Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks for connecting. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Faisal.
Thanks,
Thank
Acharya.
you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mr.